Why You Must Listen. It was a quiet torment for Lena, a brilliant mind trapped behind a language barrier. The desire to express her thoughts in English burned fiercely, yet fear held her captive. Every attempt to speak felt like climbing an invisible wall, the right words always elusive, leaving her feeling isolated and incredibly frustrated. This struggle defined her daily life. She dreamt of fluid conversations, of sharing ideas without hesitation, of connecting effortlessly with native speakers. English wasn't just a subject, it was a key to a wider world, a bridge to new opportunities and deeper understanding. This yearning for fluency became her driving force, a constant whisper in her mind. Lena had tried all the traditional methods, countless grammar books, endless vocabulary lists, and passive listening exercises. While she understood much, her speaking ability remained frozen, refusing to thaw. The gap between comprehension and confident articulation grew, creating a chasm of self-doubt within her. One evening, after another failed attempt at a simple English exchange, despair washed over her. Tears blurred her vision as she questioned everything. "Why is it so hard?" she whispered to herself. She felt stuck, her progress plateaued, and the joy of learning had evaporated completely. But deep within, a spark of resilience flickered. She refused to give up. There had to be another way, a more engaging, perhaps even magical method. Lena decided to shift her perspective entirely, to look beyond the conventional and seek out something truly revolutionary. Then, a peculiar idea formed in her mind, the English study plane. Not a physical aircraft, but a metaphorical journey, a structured, exciting approach to language acquisition. She envisioned it as a personal flight, soaring through the skies of English proficiency, reaching new linguistic heights. Her plane needed a powerful engine, sturdy wings, and an expert pilot, her own dedication. The design included core components, active listening, targeted word acquisition, and consistent conversational practice. Every element had to work in harmony, propelling her forward with purpose and momentum. The plane's engine was unequivocally why you must listen. Lena realized that true listening wasn't just hearing, it was absorbing intonation, rhythm, and natural phrasing. She sought out diverse audio materials, podcasts, interviews, and even casual conversations, immersing herself deeply in authentic English sounds. She distinguished between passive listening, background noise, and active listening, focused comprehension. Active listening became her primary fuel, allowing her to discern nuances and absorb grammatical structures effortlessly. This shift in approach made a profound difference in her auditory perception of the language. To make listening enjoyable, Lena sought out very interesting story content. She devoured audiobooks filled with captivating narratives, watched engaging documentaries, and tuned into compelling podcasts. When the content was genuinely interesting, listening transformed from a chore into an absolute delight. She discovered that stories provided context, making new vocabulary and complex sentence structures easier to understand and remember. The emotional connection to narratives also significantly boosted her retention. Stories were not just entertainment, they were powerful learning tools, full of hidden lessons. Before the plane could truly take off, she needed to master how to learn words effectively. Lena abandoned rote memorization, opting for contextual learning. She learned words within phrases, sentences, and story snippets, connecting them to vivid images and personal experiences. She integrated spaced repetition apps and practiced active recall, testing herself regularly. Instead of passively reviewing, she actively tried to retrieve words, strengthening neural pathways. This method significantly improved her vocabulary retention, making words stick more permanently. Lena kept a personal digital dictionary, not just listing words, but noting their usage, common collocations, and example sentences. She even recorded herself saying new words, paying attention to pronunciation. This holistic approach made her vocabulary truly functional and readily accessible. Her co-pilot for this journey was a set of essential, let me tell you, talking tips. She understood that speaking wasn't just about knowing words, but about confidence, flow, and connecting with others. These tips would guide her through turbulent conversational skies. The first tip was to start small, speak often. This meant beginning with simple self-talk, describing her day aloud, or narrating her actions. She embraced imperfection, knowing that every utterance, no matter how clumsy, was a step forward, building vital muscle memory. Focus on fluency, not perfection, became her mantra. Lena learned to prioritize getting her message across, even with grammatical errors, rather than getting stuck searching for the ideal word. This liberated her from the paralysis of self-criticism and allowed for natural flow. She started to embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Instead of feeling embarrassed, she viewed errors as valuable feedback, guiding her towards improvement. This mindset shift transformed her fear of failure into an eagerness to learn and refine her expression. Lena discovered the power of recording herself speaking. Listening back to her own voice helped her identify pronunciation issues, awkward phrasing, and areas for improvement that she wouldn't notice in real time. It was like having a personal language coach on demand. The shadowing technique became an invaluable tool. She would listen to native speakers and immediately try to repeat what they said, mimicking their intonation, rhythm, and speed. This greatly improved her pronunciation and natural speech patterns, making her sound more authentic. With her engine revving and tips in mind, it was time for How to Talk in English. Lena started with controlled environments, practicing with trusted friends or online language exchange partners who were patient and encouraging, creating a safe space for her experiments. She engaged in role-playing scenarios, imagining various situations like ordering food, asking for directions, or discussing current events. This mental rehearsal built confidence and prepared her for real-life interactions, making conversational spontaneity less daunting. A simple yet effective exercise was describing daily objects in detail. She would pick an item, a pen, a cup, a plant, and try to describe its color, texture, function, and origin in English, expanding her descriptive vocabulary and spontaneous sentence formation. Lena also focused on engaging in small talk, mastering common greetings, opening lines, and polite inquiries. These seemingly trivial interactions are crucial for building rapport and initiating longer conversations, breaking the ice effectively and smoothly. As her confidence grew, Lena reached cruising altitude, tackling how to talk with anyone. This meant stepping out of her comfort zone, approaching strangers, and initiating conversations in English, even if just for a few minutes. She started finding opportunities everywhere to practice. At coffee shops, public parks, or even online forums, she sought out interactions. Every chat, no matter how brief, was a chance to test her abilities and build conversational stamina, overcoming initial shyness. A key strategy was asking open-ended questions, which encouraged longer responses and kept the conversation flowing naturally. Instead of yes/no questions, she'd ask, "What do you think about?" or "Tell me more about," fostering genuine dialogue. She practiced active listening in conversations, not just waiting for her turn to speak, but truly understanding the other person. This made her responses more relevant and thoughtful, improving the quality of her interactions significantly and building stronger connections. Lena learned to express her opinions and feelings clearly and politely. This involved using phrases for agreement, disagreement, and expressing personal preferences, moving beyond basic factual exchanges to more nuanced and authentic communication of her inner world. She also developed strategies for dealing with communication breakdowns. Instead of panicking, she learned to ask for clarification, paraphrase what she heard, or politely request the speaker to repeat themselves. These techniques maintained the flow despite obstacles. The journey wasn't always smooth. Sometimes turbulence hit. Lena had to learn how to practice English consistently and effectively, even when motivation waned or progress felt slow. This phase required discipline and strategic self-management. She set aside daily dedicated practice time, even if it was just 15 to 20 minutes. Consistency was paramount. She treated it like an appointment she couldn't miss, reinforcing her commitment and building a strong habit, ensuring continuous exposure to the language. Lena ensured she was varying practice methods to prevent boredom and target different skills. One day might be focused on speaking, another on listening, and another on vocabulary review. This variety kept her engaged and addressed all facets of language learning comprehensively. She learned the importance of setting realistic goals. Instead of aiming for overnight fluency, she focused on achievable daily or weekly targets, like having a 5-minute conversation or learning 10 new phrases. This prevented burnout and celebrated small victories along the way. Finding a consistent language partner proved invaluable. This provided a regular opportunity for authentic conversation and mutual feedback. They pushed each other, celebrated successes, and supported each other through challenges, making the journey less solitary. Lena also explored joining online communities and forums dedicated to English learners. These platforms offered a supportive environment for asking questions, sharing experiences, and practicing written English, complementing her oral practice with diverse interactions. Beyond dedicated study, she started immersing herself in English media. Watching English movies without subtitles, listening to English music, and reading English news articles became part of her everyday life, making learning seamless and enjoyable. Lena understood that the importance of consistency couldn't be overstated. Even short, regular practice sessions were far more effective than sporadic, long ones. It was the steady accumulation of effort that truly propelled her forward on this linguistic journey. She regularly reviewed and reflected on her progress. By acknowledging how far she had come, she maintained motivation and identified areas that still needed work. This self-assessment was crucial for staying on track and celebrating small wins consistently. Through all the stages, listen and practice emerged as the core principle, the very essence of her English study plan. It was the constant interplay between absorbing and producing, taking in language, and then actively using it herself. She realized that active listening directly fueled active speaking. The more she listened, the more natural phrases, idiomatic expressions, and correct grammatical structures became ingrained, readily available for recall during conversations. Her mindset shifted to practice making progress, not perfection. Each practice session was an opportunity to get a little better, to articulate a thought more clearly, or to understand a new accent. The goal was continuous improvement, not flawlessness. Lena began to find the joy of the process itself. The journey of learning, the small victories, the connections made through language, these became sources of immense satisfaction. English learning transformed from a burden into an exciting adventure. She consciously connected listening and speaking in her practice. After listening to a dialogue, she would try to recreate it or discuss the content. This synthesis strengthened both receptive and productive skills simultaneously, creating a powerful learning loop. Slowly but surely, Lena transformed from fear to fearless communication. The initial terror of speaking began to dissipate, replaced by a growing confidence and an eagerness to engage, seeing every conversation as an exciting new frontier to explore. The ultimate destination of her English study plan was how to learn English holistically and effectively. It wasn't just about vocabulary or grammar, it was about integrating all skills for real-world communication, becoming a truly fluent speaker. Lena's journey taught her that learning English wasn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Her English study plan was a personal, adaptable system, constantly refined based on her needs and progress, emphasizing self-awareness and customization in language acquisition. The most profound reward was the newfound confidence. She no longer shied away from conversations. Instead, she actively sought them out. This confidence spilled over into other areas of her life, empowering her in unexpected ways. She experienced the pure joy of connecting with people from diverse backgrounds, sharing laughter, ideas, and stories in a language that once intimidated her. English became a tool for profound human connection, dissolving geographical and cultural barriers. Lena, once a hesitant learner, had truly become a confident speaker. Her voice, once timid, now resonated with clarity and assurance, a testament to her dedication and the effectiveness of her unique study plan methodology. Inspired by her success, Lena felt compelled to share her journey. She wanted others to know that fluency was achievable, not through magic, but through a systematic, engaging, and consistent approach, just like embarking on a well-planned flight. She started sharing her "Let me tell you" talking tips with aspiring learners, emphasizing the power of active listening, daily practice, and embracing imperfections. Her advice was practical, empathetic, and born from personal experience. The English study plane wasn't just her journey, it became a beacon of hope for others. Its legacy was a reminder that with the right mindset and method, anyone could soar to new linguistic heights and achieve their English-speaking dreams. Why you must listen to this story is because it encapsulates a universal truth. Language learning is an adventure, a personal flight. It's about finding your unique path, embracing the process, and believing in your ability to communicate effectively. Now, it's your turn to take flight. Equip yourself with these tips, start your own English study plane, and embark on your journey to confident, fluent English communication. The sky's the limit when you decide to truly learn and speak.